Hey, I'm Ron Drotos from keyboardimprov.com, and welcome to day one of the Art of Keith Jarrett. It's a 31-day tribute that I'm putting together to explore various aspects of this great musician who has influenced me and so many others in our musical journeys. Wonderful musician. I think he's a modern-day Mozart and really is a complete pianist in many, many, many ways. We can learn a lot from him. So to start things off here on day one, I'd like to go back to the beginnings of my sort of appreciation of Jarrett's music and give you a way in, especially if you're first starting to get to know his music, or perhaps you've been loving it like I have for decades even. And this was the Köln Concert for me. You know, in the late 70s, I was 15, 16 years old, and just getting into jazz and improv. You know, all of a sudden, hey, I can, you know, that's a blues scale, you know, and jamming with my friends, that really exciting time where our passion just explodes. You know, a lot of times it's as we're teenagers. And the Köln Concert was a few years old at that time. It was his big breakthrough in the 70s, and one time it was the biggest selling solo piano recording of all time, may still be. And it's basically improvised, you know. Jarrett will come out and improvise an entire concert. The part that struck me was the most was part 2C on the original recording. It's labeled part 2C. And it's actually in the real book called Memories of Tomorrow. And I couldn't quite reconcile it with being an improvisation, because it's, you know, it's such a beautiful, it's a melody, it's a tune. You know, it's a real tune, and perfectly structured. And for a long time, up until a couple of years ago, I'm thinking, even that must have just been one of those moments where, you know, lightning struck, you know, and, you know, the heavens opened up and he just improvised, like we do sometimes, improvise something that's absolutely perfect. But in an interview years later, and I forget where it is, but some interview, he actually says that it was a written out piece. You know, a lot of times for encores, he'll play a standard or a piece of his, and this was one of those. He hadn't recorded it. I don't know if he called it Memories of Tomorrow. It seems a little new agey for Jarrett. A lot of times his titles will be sort of in the spiritual bent, like you know, now I'm blanking, you know, something like a meditation or something like that, or a Sundance or something. But Memories of Tomorrow seems a little new agey, but I don't know. It was in the original real book put together by students at the Berklee College of Music. Some of them may have known him because he had been there just a few years before then, so I don't know. But in any case, it was the first tune I learned. It was part of my first solo piano performance ever when I was in high school at a talent show. I played a medley, and I started off with this. So I thought I'd play it for you, give you some ideas from hearing me play, and inspire you to do the same. And it's in the real book, so it's an easy way to start playing some Keith Jarrett. Wonderful, wonderful tune in the key of A minor. Here we go. Wow. Played that at the age of 15 at my high school for the talent show, and brought back a lot of nice memories. It's a great intro to Jarrett's music because it's not completely freeform. It's not sitting down with nothing, because sometimes if we have nothing, we're like, oh, what do we play, right? We'll explore those in some of the next parts of this tribute, but it's in the real book. You can check it out and have fun with it. It has some gospel elements, some pop. You know, that's what he did in the Köln Concert, and I think that was his breakthrough. He wasn't playing straight ahead jazz. He was playing straight eighth notes, gospel, pop, world music influenced, with a jazz sensibility with the improvisation. And I think that's what enabled him to cross over. It was sort of something that the general public could latch onto, because jazz wasn't in fashion as it was in the 30s, 40s, and 50s anymore by the 70s. And it was also related to the straight eighth music that they're hearing in pop music and in gospel. So it was his breakthrough. Thanks for being here. It's just the beginning of our journey of 31 days, and I'll see you in day 2.